This was the biggest hip-hop group in Africa.
At the moment, you are the biggest thing in Africa.
The group was bigger than 𝙒𝙗𝙧 back then. They were so good that people thought they were not Kenyans. They had a distinct accent, swag and sound that was not common in Kenya.
Memories of what we had, I'm missing you. Sunny days out in the pad and swimming pool. These days women care less about their dudes.
They made history on May 13th, 2012 when they performed at the Big Brother Africa Star Game, which was the 7th season of the Big Brother Africa.
My life is not the same, and I know who to blame. If I remember the name, it sounded something like fame. For the money, for the game, I would kill it, no shame.
Other artists who performed on that same stage that year were P-Square, Nato C, Flavor, Davido and rapper J. Cole. And this is enough proof that Camp MULLA were international. They also got a nomination for Best International Act Africa at the 2012 BET Awards, becoming the first Kenyans ever to be nominated for a BET Award. They were on top of the world. As I speak, there is no Kenyan group that has done what Camp MULLA did a decade ago. A former radio presenter called Joe Mushiri even suggested that they were the best group after Kalamashaka, which prompted a big debate. Their album Funky Town had a fresh urban sound with skillful audio and video production, which was something that Kenyan artists were not doing. Despite all these achievements, they faced backlash as people said that they needed to develop their own identity instead of rapping like rappers in the US. At first, Kenyan radios, especially the English-speaking radios, were not willing to play their music because they were not sounding like Kenyans and their sound was a bit different as compared to other Kenyan rappers at that time.
They got a lot of resistance from Kenyan radio.
Yes,
there was a lot of talk of they don't sound Kenyan now. It
was hate.
Other countries and platforms like the BET gave Camp MULLA a chance and they blew up, becoming international. And eventually, the radios now came back begging for interviews.
Suddenly we're on BET. Okay?
Yes.
Followed closely by MTV Base. Kenyan radio started playing them.
What?
Kenyan radio started after ignoring them for about 6 months.
Camp MULLA's mission was to bring hip-hop back into the mainstream light, and they actually did that. They had multiple hit songs, but one song that we all remember is this song, Party Don't Stop. It was a big song, and we all thought that the Camp MULLA party will last forever. But one day, they decided to break up and pursue solo projects, leaving their fans high and dry, who are still waiting for a comeback till today that may never happen. So what happened to Camp MULLA? Let's find out. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Camp MULLA was a movement of talented people driven by similar inspirations to make music and make moolah or money. When they were starting, the content of rap music in Kenya was shifting from the common ghetto life story to a flashy showbiz lifestyle, and we saw Camp MULLA shooting high-budget videos and singing about parties and the good life. But their entrance into the Kenyan market came with a lot of criticism, mostly because of their choice of language and sound, as some people felt that they were not Kenyan enough and that their music sounded American. But nevertheless, the group rose to unprecedented fame in the early 2010s for their swag and captivating music, which put Kenya on the international map. The group was made up of Teotripa, whose real name is Matayo or Matthew Wakungu, Shapaman or Benoa Kanema, Mikey CEO or Michael Mutoni, Kusma or Marcus Kibokosia, and the only lady in the group, Miss Karun or Karun Mungai. Mikey was the only member in the group that wasn't singing, as he was like the group's manager. And for the record, he was their first manager, and it was Mikey's idea to bring them together. And they were all under the Sub-Sahara Limited record, which is owned by Kuzma's mother, Susan Gashukia Opembe. In an interview with Capital FM in 2012, Shapaman, who was the co-founder of Camp MULLA and the group's first rapper, said that all the members of the group were his childhood buddies, so forming the group was easy. 𝙤𝙗𝙗, Mikey and 𝙏𝙤𝙖𝙑 co-founded the group in mid-2009 with Miss Karun and Kusma joining later. In the beginning, 𝙏𝙤𝙖𝙑 and 𝙤𝙗𝙗 were doing freestyle sessions called Trippy Tuesdays and posting the freestyles on Facebook and other platforms. They were consistent and confident that their music will eventually pay off. This is 𝙏𝙤𝙖𝙑 freestyling, and in the freestyle, he talks about putting Kenya on the map, which actually happened.
Who knew that I could rap? Look cool in snapback caps. Have ladies on my lap while I put Kenya on the map.
They kept doing the freestyles and will later release what is believed to be their first single called 𝙏𝙏, and was the first song to gain radio airplay. At the time, they were distributing their music via Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, and SoundClick, which were not so strong as compared to radio, because in the 2010s, artists needed radio to push their music. But nowadays, radio is not that important or special. One thing that stood out in their music was the production, which was actually done by Kusma, who was their main producer. MULLA called their musical style 2-5 flow, which was derived from Kenya's calling code +254. 2-5 flow was an infusion of hip-hop and R&B with a mix of Kenyan culture and swag. They were just keeping it cool, and they didn't want to sound the same as every other artist. MULLA's sound was different. Some people did not understand what they were doing, and even mocked their music, calling them bubblegum artists. Now, bubblegum, also called bubblegum pop, is pop music in a catchy and upbeat style that is marketed for children and adolescents, and that was kinda disrespectful to MULLA. But the critics had no idea what MULLA was capable of. In August 2010, MULLA released this song, Party Don't Stop, which was a massive hit, not just in Kenya, but also in other countries in Africa and beyond Africa. The song peaked at number 2 on 98.4 Capital FM's radio playlist, Hits Not Homework, and at number 13 on Homeboy's radio hit list, making it the most successful single from MULLA. They were destined for bigger things, and people began calling them the Black Eyed Peas of Africa. Party Don't Stop was one of MULLA's first videos to go global. This and other songs like Fresh All Day, Addicted, and Feel No Pain earned them several awards. MULLA made their first public appearance on February 2011 at Kolo's Valentine Day concert. They then served as the opening act for Nigerian artist 𝙏𝙗𝙗 at a live performance at the Carnival in 2011, and opened for Nigerian acts such as 𝙏𝙗𝙗 and Flavor at Niger Night in the same year. 2012 was their breakthrough year, as they became Kenya's first group to be nominated in the BET Awards, but they lost to Sarkodie and Wizkid, and you can now see the kind of artist they are being compared to. In that same year, they won the Teenage Group or Collabo and Teenage New Artist Awards at the 2012 Chaguo Teenage Awards held in April 2012. On 6th May 2012, the group was set to perform at the Big Brother Africa opening ceremony alongside J. Cole, Davido, 𝙏𝙗𝙗, 𝙏𝙗𝙗, and other big artists, but they did not perform due to delays in the traveling documentation. However, they went on to perform on the program's first eviction show on 13th May 2012. MULLA also performed at the grand finale of the 5th season of Tusker Project Fame in 2012.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the biggest, the baddest, MULLA!
Here we, you see I'm loving what you do to me, so if it's cool, let me know. We can kick it in the beat.
And all that is proof that MULLA was big. However, the rise of MULLA was not that easy. Apart from people calling them bubblegum rappers, some people felt that they did not struggle to make it in the industry because they were rich kids or they came from rich families. But MULLA responded saying that they were successful because they were talented and passionate, and the reason that made fans to love them it's because they were making good music. On September 2012, the group released their debut studio album, Funky Town, that had songs like Sunday Swag, Where Do You Come From, Hold It Down, and other popular songs. It was a top quality album, and by the fact that it was their first album, they actually over-delivered. Camp MULLA were scheduled to make their stage debut in Zambia in a cross-continental tour that will have taken them to Zimbabwe and several other African countries. In between, they were to visit Dubai and do a mini tour of Europe in efforts to promote their music and entertain their fans. But that never happened, as the group's lead singer Karun and rapper Teo both left the group to pursue higher education and solo careers. Camp MULLA's record label, 𝙏𝙖𝙧 Limited, issued a statement saying, "It is true that Miss Karun is no longer with the group. She has left the group to prepare to join university in the USA in August. She's also working on solo projects. 𝙏𝙧𝙧 is also pursuing a solo career." It is said that Miss Karun broke the news during a meeting between the label's management and the artist ahead of their planned trip for the MTV Africa All-Stars show in Durban, South Africa. It was after this shocking revelation that 𝙏𝙧𝙧 apparently also resolved to quit if Karun left. As a result, the two remaining members of the group, 𝙏𝙗𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙗, were forced to perform in Durban on their own, bringing along Kolo. This was not good news, and many fans saw it as the end of Camp MULLA, but it was not dead yet. 𝙏𝙗𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙗 were to carry the Camp MULLA flag and were now the new face of the group. A new female member called Tiri joined the team. Tiri was brought in to replace Karun, and she was also 𝙏𝙗𝙗's girlfriend. Critics branded her a wannabe, trying to fit into Miss Karun's big shoes, but she cared less about what people said. The new Camp MULLA went on to release a song called Chafua, featuring Kolo, which was not a bad song, but things were not the same. According to Susan Gashukia, the CEO of 𝙏𝙧𝙧 Limited, Camp MULLA's record label, it was not easy for the members to come to terms with the fact that they were no longer a group. Some months later, fans began asking questions wondering what really happened to Camp MULLA. It is alleged that their well-to-do family background played a part in their breakup.
But the reality is this, the disconnect came when their families could not align. No, just say, kuko na beef na artists, as in amongst artists in a group, and then there's also beef now with family, because we budako na unaniambia nini pa pia sisi tuko na kitu.
Other reports claimed that 𝙏𝙗𝙗, the producer, was allegedly one of the reasons for the split, as he brought in Tiri since she was the girlfriend, and this made the group to split. There are also other claims that the artists were being underpaid despite earning millions of shillings within and outside Kenya. But no one is sure of what really happened. 1 year later, after the group members parted ways, each of them had released a single, but none of the songs had received as much hype or airplay as the previous songs they had released as Camp MULLA. In 2013, 𝙏𝙗𝙗 released a solo mixtape entitled 𝙏𝙗𝙧 and Purple. 𝙏𝙗𝙗 also released an EP entitled Wildlife on Tape and followed that up with another mixtape. Miss Karun released a solo debut album, Sun and Moon, that was marketed and distributed by a former label, a sign that there was no bad blood despite the past events. The launch of the album was interesting, as the president at that time, Uhuru Kenyatta, got to attend. Later on, Teo became a DJ and also pursued a career in radio, as he was hosting a hip-hop show on Homeboy's Radio called The Jump Off with Corino Nyango and Frankie. Fans were still hoping for Camp MULLA comeback, including South African rapper Nasty C, who said that he'd like to see Camp MULLA do something, even if it's just one song. In 2017, Camp MULLA announced their return from hiatus with a performance at the Techno Wave concert at the Ngong Racecourse in Nairobi. They were set to release their second album, but it never happened. Finally, if you look back, we didn't appreciate Camp MULLA enough. and I hope that this generation will give our artists and even YouTubers like me enough support. And by that, support this channel by subscribing and liking this video. Also remember to comment below what you think about this video. Thank you for watching this video, and let's meet on the next video.